Hey, welcome back to the food forest. It's been a while, but I've been busy just harvesting food. Can you believe it's already September? It's already September, and some leaves are starting to fall. See, our sea buckthorn is starting to drop some leaves. I've gotten most of the sea buckthorn berries off of there. I don't know if we can see it. There's a couple ones that are up high that I wasn't able to reach. But for the most part, we're collecting tons of fruit. We've got a plum back in there that we've been collecting plums from. And let's just go around and see what's going on right now. Some great growth on some of these pawpaw saplings that I planted last year. I think this tree's only 2 years old. So this thing's really grown well. Really enjoying the shade of the bartnut tree here and the sumac. So what I'll do probably next year is chop some of this down, pollard it, maybe coppice it, and release some light to the pawpaw now that it can handle a little bit more sun. You can see we've got a little hand dug pond down in there where we've got some watered hyacinth that I've been feeding into the compost system. We've got duckweed that I feed to the chickens. So a small little micro pond. It's only about maybe 10-12 feet by 3 feet by about 3 feet deep, and it's in stages, so it's like a foot on the outside and then 2 feet and then 3 feet in the middle, just in case any fish were to fall in there from birds that land in the drink water. Sometimes they'll carry fish eggs on their feet, and weirder things have happened for sure. Yeah, but that little micro pond is great for duckweed, for feeding the chickens. I really enjoy having little ponds. This is a seedling peach. Every time I eat some of my peaches from my peach trees, I'll just jam the peach pit into the ground. And this is one that I jammed in the ground maybe 4 years ago. And look at this, a free tree just coming from the seed of one of the peaches. It's cold hardy enough. I haven't had a peach yet from it, so the risk from a seedling peach is that you may not get the best peaches off of it. So we'll see that next year. It had a couple peaches this year, but it dropped them and we never actually got them to ripen. So we'll see how that does next year, and hopefully it's a decent peach as well. You can see the wetland filter here is just nice and full and lush. We do have irises and stuff like that in there. But we want lots of roots in order to filter and clean our pond water. And you can see from that opening shot of this video, hopefully, that the strategy is definitely working. That pond is crystal clear. We've been eating some plums. So, it looks like we've got some wasps eating some plums as well. And I'm totally fine with this. So, I like to show everything. And this is just what happens when you don't spray your trees. The side benefit is, okay, so I lose a plum, but I'm supporting wasps. And wasps are actually one of the most beneficial garden friends that you can have. A lot of people don't like wasps. We have a lot of paper wasps, and paper wasps are absolutely lovely creatures. And we want to definitely promote them. We want them to be here and eat our pests. And then we've got these lovely plums just to fresh eat. So good. Here's a Wallflower Hill just down further south, and you can see it is just absolutely vibrant. We have a ton of beneficial plants down in here. Queen Anne's lace, clearly lots of goldenrod. This is not ragweed. Some people mis-ID this for ragweed. Ragweed is just, it's kind of funny. I don't know how people can misidentify it for ragweed. This is very yellow. Ragweed is very, very much not yellow, and I actually think I know where some is. Let me go show you. So look at this. Look how bright and yellow this is. Beautiful flowers, and usually teeming with insects. This is one of the most beneficial plants that I have on my property. And you can see it's teeming with life. There's always so many insects. in and around here. It supports bees, butterflies, little flies. Like, look at, just really wonderful. Look at a wild bee. And if you can see, they're all over. Another wasp there as well. We've got just tons of bees on this. Like, what a wonderful plant. You know, when I say we really want to support the insect biome, this is what I'm talking about. So if you see this plant on your property, just leave it up. It is such a wonderful, wonderful plant. Okay, I had to go to my neighbor's property, but this is ragweed. So this is what ragweed looks like. Completely different. And even when this flowers, the flowers are more of a muted yellow. Like a very muted yellow. But completely different looking plant. The leaves look more like a carrot leaf. I'll go show you the leaves of goldenrod. Here's some more. Here's some more right across on my front lawn. Again, covered in insects. And you can see the leaves are very different. Don't look like carrot leaves at all. And wasps and bees, you can often tell how their mood is just based off of what they're doing. Wasps specifically, when they're angry, he might be a little bit territorial here. But paper wasps, for example, they can actually sense your feelings, and they can actually learn your face. They can understand your face, and their wings, when they're flat out, is when they're not being hostile. When their wings are shaped in a V, like this guy's kind of is right now, that's when they're a little bit hostile. They're kind of wary of you. They're not sure. And if you see a lot of that, then you can know, maybe give them a little bit extra space. But typically I'll just walk around with wasps around me all the time. And because we have very docile paper wasps, and to be honest, I'm not sure if this is a paper wasp, but not all yellow and black are bad. So you can see that this guy's not interested in me at all. He's just trying to get some food off of this wonderful plant. We've still got a few peaches left. This is, I believe, a veteran peach. It's still hard. So I just give it a little squeeze to see if it's ready. This is still hard, not ready to be harvested yet. This is the last tree that's got anything left on it. And I think it's only got the one left. I don't think we've got any on the floor. You can see I kind of let the comfrey do its thing. I'll come in here and chop and mulch with all this right at the end, but I'm going to let it fold over and provide habitat for creatures. And I think that that's really beneficial. You know, we've even got some, quote unquote pests in here. Oh, there's a little rabbit. Did I get that? Hopefully I got that. So we've got animals. We're supporting all life in here. And, we've got rabbit protectors on our trees to kind of try to protect that. But I don't exclude anything. I do really want to build habitat in my food forest. And I don't want to fence things out anywhere. I've got Rosie picking up recycling and in the garage and coming out here and eating it. So I'll always find some little treats and surprises like that. Let's pop down to the raspberries and see what we've got. I visited these yesterday, and I just love how much we've got food growing everywhere. All grapes that I planted. We've got autumn olive here that was here before us, but we allow this one to stay and we snack on the berries. I feed these to the chickens. They're very high in fiber. And this is a nitrogen fixing tree, so it's restoring fertility to this area of my land. I've got asparagus planted in and underneath it. comfrey that I can step over and get new flushes of comfrey, and I'm building soil this way. Stepping over it decomposes, new growth pops up. I can get multiple harvests of fertility, and then the asparagus behind it can send the roots down into this area and feed and grow, get stronger. We also plant other beneficial trees, for example, like this paper birch. So we don't just plant, pears and apples down in there. We've got asparagus. We don't plant just beneficial trees for us. We plant other things like paper birch, which supports I think about 300 different local native insects, mostly caterpillars, moths that will make tents on the leaves and then eat them, and then that supports the birds. So I'm very much into growing food as resilience for my family and doing earthworks and permaculture things in order to store and hold water and all that. But my main goal here is to not just eat, but to feed nature. For example, oaks support literally thousands of different native insects. We've got more goldenrod that we allow to grow anywhere that it wants to. So you look at the food forest area and maybe you just see a wild mess, but I see wonderful plants that are supporting insects everywhere. Look at this linden tree. I can eat these leaves, specifically, especially in the early spring. They're very, very tasty. They're a little bit more bland and bitter now, but I love seeing this because this means that I'm supporting some form of moth, larva that's, eating some kind of caterpillar stage, and then it pupates and becomes food for birds, which is fantastic. So you can see the raspberries everywhere, or blackberries are all through here. I pick these every, did I just step near a hive, a ground? I think I can hear a lot of activity beneath my feet. But I picked these just yesterday, 2 days ago. So this is 2 days of growth. And it's been every 2 days for at least a month, maybe more. Our fridge is full, like 20 to 30 freezer bags of blackberries at this point. Fresh eating every day, as much as the kids want. Just such a wonderful tree, bush, sorry. And this is Primark, a variety of thornless blackberry. Really, really nice. Super productive. Okay, I'm gonna just pop down to the lower area here and check out the pawpaws quick, and then what we'll do is hop up into the annual gardens and show you the kind of tomatoes that we've done. I did say that I didn't prune any of my tomatoes this year. I let them grow all super wild. Usually I'll pull suckers off and all that, and I'll trellis them up, but I didn't do any of that this year. Let's see. You can see all the soil building that we do at the base with comfrey. Look at all this. Just walking through there when I'm harvesting, we've got tons of suckering pawpaws, like brand new trees popping up. So one day this will be a full thicket, even a forest of pawpaws. Maybe long when I'm gone, someone will come down here and discover everything that we've done down here. Just loaded up. You can see I bagged quite a few of these, and the leaves are starting to turn in some areas, but it's still quite loaded up. I don't see any bags on the floor yet. So with pawpaws, I'm specifically looking when the tree wants to start dropping its fruit naturally, and then I'll pop up in here and harvest. You can see we've got milkweed that we scatter seeds and now is starting to scatter and grow on its own everywhere to support the monarch butterflies. Sorry for moving around so much. You can see tons of wildflowers that we scattered and sowed in here as well. This is an area that we like to leave wild as per permaculture principles. This is like our zone 4/zone 5 a little further in, so we'll plant a little bit of this out. A couple species that are very low maintenance, like pawpaws, where we just have to essentially come down once the fruit sets to bag it, just to keep a little bit of it for ourselves so that the deer don't get all of it, and then come down and harvest it once it starts dropping. But I'm looking for a few fruit to drop and a few of those bags on the floor, and then I'll come in and harvest a bunch. They are very much like tomatoes, where if the ripening process has started in the fruit, then you can pick and harvest the fruit and it'll continue to ripen on a ledge of a windowsill. But if the ripening process hasn't started, then it'll never ripen. So you wait until the ripening process starts, and then you can kind of come down and pick quite a few of them. And then you're really just picking enough to daily eat because they don't store super long. And then eventually you're going to have so many, you're going to have to pick a bunch and preserve them. And we'll probably make some pawpaw ice cream, and we'll freeze a bunch. We'll see how that goes. If you know about freezing pawpaws, let me know. I have a feeling they probably won't freeze that well, but I think it's really all we can do. We can try dehydrating some as well. We'll try everything this year. Just see how that goes. Look at just all the activity on this goldenrod. The thing I really love about the food forest and doing things this way is that, just a sec, it's really busy in here. I don't want to get stung. So I'm just going to slowly walk through. Don't mind me. Is that you can tell. You can tell. What I was talking about. They can tell. Insects can tell what your mental state is. Honestly, I do believe they can almost sense kindness. They can tell that I trust them. My heart rate's not racing. I'm probably giving off pheromones if I'm afraid, and they can pick up on that. I think they can pick up on apprehension and tension. But you can tell that the food forest is actually getting very fun to walk through. The canopy is closing in. It really feels like a forest in here now. And I really, really enjoy that aesthetic. We'll just pop over here. Actually, how are these apples doing? This is a Spartan apple. So what I do with apples sometimes is I'll kind of feel them, give them a little wiggle to see if they want to come off. And then you can rotate them upwards. And if the fruit releases on its own, then it's ready. I don't know if you could hear the chickens in the background. Someone just laid an egg and is doing the happy chicken dance. And yeah, all through here, it just seems like I'm walking through, whatever, but we've got, pawpaws planted everywhere. We've got service berries planted. We've got sea buckthorn that, people complain about sea buckthorn being invasive. This is a plant that was thriving before, but now that the canopy's closed in and the sun is off of this plant, it just died. This is a, nasty, terrible invasive, if you listen to certain people, that builds soil, fixes nitrogen, and then as soon as the canopy closes, it seeds away and dies. And this is, walking proof of that. This is a plant that I harvested berries from 3 years ago, and then the canopy closed in, and now it's just passed on. It did its job, and it's going to allow for the next level of succession to take over. So have to really be careful when people say things like, certain trees are invasives and their list is just a bunch of nitrogen fixers. Sometimes those nitrogen fixers are being invasive because they're doing a job in the ecosystem. They are, rebuilding soil, rebuilding fertility in nitrogen depleted soils. And when they finish that job, they'll just go on to the next person or tree. Look at the insect activity in here. It's just not just crazy. You'd think we'd have 100 hives nearby, but we don't. You can hear I've got a pond pump in there. I use some of the vegetation to cover it, but not cover it too much so that it's overheating or anything. We've got a big cherry in the background there. We've got some poplar that I've allowed to grow. It's a bit of a junk tree, but I do want some kind of overstory in here, so I'm letting that happen, knowing full well that I'll have to cut those out at some point. and replace it with something else. We've got blackberry down in there. And for right now, this is just an area that's supporting pretty much every bee in existence in and around here. We're surrounded by monoculture corn and soy cash crop farming, and it just sprays the plants and chemicals everywhere and kills all the insects. We've lost 90% of our insect biomass since 1970. And you know, as much as I do understand that man-made climate change is a real thing and that it's a serious threat that we have to address, I believe there are so many more. I believe that it's a symptom of the way that we design our current human civilizations. It's a symptom of overshoot, and another huge symptom of that is absolute catastrophic collapse of our biome and biospheres, specifically the insects. So here we take problematic insects, Japanese beetles, and feed them to our girls. And they hear me coming. I always bring them treats. Let's go get them some duckweed. So another little area I did. This is actually a Hugelkultur mound, believe it or not, which maybe you can see if I pull down. You can see that it's sticks and twigs brush pile that's broken down over the years. We had some poison ivy, so I sheet mulched, you know, just smothered that. Interestingly enough, wherever you find jewelweed, and this is a plant that also supports tons of insects, you can crush this up and rub it, and it's good for bug bites, it's good for burns, it's specifically good for countering itchiness from urushiol oil, which is from poison ivy. And interestingly enough, they always grow near each other, or almost always. So where if you have poison ivy somewhere, look for this tree or this plant. This is called jewelweed. So here are the leaves and the flowers. And I leave all this up. My Hugelkultur mound has basically become this. Let's see, spiders. So my Hugelkultur mound has become a little bit of a jewelweed farm for me, so if I ever need it. And this is where I take a little bit of suction of water. I've got a pond pump here. This one's actually an AC pond pump. I also have a DC pond pump. And then I've got some duckweed in here as well. We've got some coltsfoot there. And this is fresh, clean water for my chickens. There's actually quite a bit of iron in this water, just naturally. And it's really good for the chickens to get a little bit of iron as well. So this is very, very nutrient and mineral dense duckweed. It's specifically growing in, you know, very wild water that's been filtered through wetland and pressurized through some up elevation granite plates. So it's kind of like an underground artesian well, pressurized source of water. We'll go give this to the chickens here. Look at these kiwi, just doing so well. Hi, girls. Hi. Hi. Come on. Come on. You guys know I mean treats. I mean treats. My voice means treats. Come on. You can see in here it's actually quite cool. It was very hot outside, but in here they've got this small little run. We're about to leave, so they're back inside today. They've got raspberries and kiwi up top there. These girls here are still a little bit skittish of me. They don't really come out and start eating until I leave. But this is very nutrient dense. Feed for them that is zero effort. And you can just collect some in a local pond. And then they really, really enjoy this. They love raspberries as well. They're being a little skittish. I will come by and pick some raspberries for them as well. So raspberries are back in season. Raspberries will, at least my variety here, they'll produce early in the spring on their second year, and then first year canes will produce around now. These will stay over the winter time, and then they'll produce again next spring, and then they'll go. and then that's essentially their life cycle. We'll also pick some autumn olives here. So throw some of this in. Just pop over. It's always fun to give them some treats and let them know that I mean food. Because the other thing that's nice there is then I can go give them some food, and then I can pop in and grab their eggs. But I did already grab eggs. You can see they really fight over the raspberries. They really, really love the blackberries, but they pick off all the autumn olive berries as well. They love those. Yeah, and then this is the extended run. So I open this up, I let them get in underneath all these grapes, underneath this peach tree here, underneath the trellis of grapes, and I grab this fence and I just pull it over, attach it to there. And then there's another fence that actually comes out from here. It kind of attaches a little further in, comes straight out around that post, and then wraps around and keeps things out so that they're safe. You can see it in there. See it in there? See, so this looks like they could just run out, but they're all kind of contained in there. But the run is, I don't know, maybe about 20-30 feet by 20-30 feet. So it's a decent size. I'd like to have it bigger, but it's quite nice. It's very nice and cool in there though, growing grapes and kiwi. It gives them a little bit of a reprieve from the heat in the summertime. And then I've got tons of raspberries growing right near them. So I pick these off as I go into get their feed in there. You can see I've got some soldier fly larvae in there as well for them to eat, just like little snacks. So that's what I feed the chickens. In the summertime, they eat lots of grasses that I cut, lots of produce from the gardens here. You can see, I mean, we're in September, so the orach is almost done. I'm letting that go to seed. As soon as this starts going really seedy, I'll give this to the chickens as well for some nice protein. I might even try to soak some of it in water and then get it to sprout and then give it to them as sprouted greens. And we've got tons of tomatoes, and if I get a damaged tomato, then I'll give that to them. A lot of the leaves are starting to get mosaic virus and end their life, so I probably only have another few weeks of tomatoes left. That's about the warm weather that we'll get. That's all we'll get anyways. These little orange ones are my favorite. They're so good. That deep complex flavor is just so incredible. I can't tell you all the varieties because I kind of traded off some fruit for plants this year. So we've been giving away peaches and plums and trading that for someone to start our seeds for us. Just a nice way to offset some of the work involved. Got a really nice yellow variety. They don't get much bigger than this. Really been enjoying these. We've got some peppers in here still growing, and we've been harvesting some of those. We've got some sweet potato, so we've been eating some of these sweet potato leaves. You can actually eat sweet potato leaves. They're not in the same family as normal potatoes. Don't do that with normal potatoes. And whenever I come in here, I just kind of pull off any impacted leaves and get rid of them. So we've been doing that as well. Some kale, we've been eating this kale. It's pretty much done. And what I can do now is start sowing in some winter fall crops. So more broccoli, kale. I can actually get that into the ground. Maybe this weekend I'll do that. So now's a good time. We've been eating this spinach, but it's doing okay. It's given us so much food. And you can see I even leave goldenrod in my annual beds. Because why not? It's more solar energy. It's more soil root exudates that are getting pumped into my garden bed. And this thing's not competing with, the tomatoes. The tomatoes are just producing like bonkers here. And actually, this one here, I mean, it's pretty good. I could use this for soup. It's got a little bit of, we had a big rainstorm the other day. Sometimes that'll cause tomatoes to split. And I can use like most of this tomato for soup. It's a great tomato. But also, we have so much soup that we've been making, so I'll just turn this tomato into eggs as well and watch the chickens eat it. Now sometimes I find that they won't necessarily start it on their own, so I have to kind of crack it open for them so that they can feel it. And then they start to, once there's a hole in it, they'll peck at it. Oh, and then once one of them sees that someone got something good out of it, they start really going for it. So this is just a nice way to give the chickens some extra healthy food. And we've also got these Rosa rugosa rose hips that we've been turning into jam as well. So I'm just kind of hopefully trying to wait until we get a few more so that we can turn that into jam. Hey chonkers, what are you doing up there? So thanks for watching. I think I'll just leave it here. Fairly unedited. I may not even go and edit any of this out. I'll usually edit a video like this, 30 minutes. I'll usually edit this down to maybe 10 minutes or so, but I'll just leave this one as a wandering, meandering talking tour. I know some people really like the fully unedited videos. So I think I'll just do that. I'll upload this as it is. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, hopefully, for the next video. And I'll just leave you with a little video of the pond here. I'm gonna get a drink. See, sometimes there's bees that like to eat right. Oh, there's probably some bees in there. I'll just quickly go show you that, actually. I'm not sure if she got stung. She's got that collar on because she was fighting with Lucy, and she kind of cut her side here a little bit, and she's been licking it. Hey, you're nuts. Yeah, sometimes we'll get bees that will just kind of eat all in here and drink water in here, so I thought that's why she was jumping up. But it doesn't look like it, actually. So, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.